As you were, as you were.
And Mandy Moore, the voice of Rapunzel.
Happy to be different.
Before we start the panel, I'd like to acknowledge that this is the first time we've had Jeremy, Eden, Zachary, and Mandy all in one place together.
This is the first time I've met Jeremy and Eden.
That's crazy.
It's the first time I've met Eden and Mandy.
It's the first time
Spoiler
I've met
alert.
Jack, unfortunately, and I have history.
Yeah, we go way back, Jeremy.
Zach gets around.
In good ways. I get a lot around in good ways. This is D23. Let's straighten it out. What's going on? Hi, Zach. Hi, Chris. We're so far apart.
We just started.
Sorry.
I'd actually like to start off by asking Chris a question. Tangled is one of the most popular films to come out of Disney in the past decade. What was it like to be given the torch to carry on this story?
Well, it was super easy till right now when I got the pressure from this entire group of people. I was a huge fan of the movie to begin with, and knowing that there was such a huge loyal following of fans that were going to be invested in the characters as we went forward, it was a lot of pressure. And some of the big challenges immediately right out of the gate were the thing for myself and the creative team in the very beginning to not only kind of match the expectations, but then to take it beyond. Yeah, it was huge.
Can you talk a little bit more how it came to fruition and a little bit about how the story fits in between the end of the feature film and the beginning of the Tangled After Hours short?
Well, the first question that I asked myself and the guys, we were all together, was what made sense, what was the story that we wanted to tell that actually made the most sense in bringing the hair back and where it would actually take place. And so once, Zach had this great line at the end of the movie, Eugene has this great line where it says, after years and years of asking and asking, I finally said yes. You can do that later. But we said, hey, there's a little time there. Maybe, he might be joking, but what if there was some time between the movie and when they actually get married? And that was the kind of the time, and that was the opportunity that we took to say, hey, there's more to these characters' stories, and certainly more to Rapunzel's story, that we can kind of grow both of them as characters and take the time to really grow them, not only out as characters, but give them depth and have a lot of opportunity for adventure and music and fun and action. It seemed like a really important time in people's lives. I have two daughters, 15 and 17, Ariana and Catalina. My daughter Ariana is the namesake of Queen Ariana. She's here today. And yes, give it up for Ariana. Yeah! But having two daughters at home and an amazing wife at home, being able to talk to them about the experiences that they were going through, we thought that like between 18 and 22, people's lives are really adventurous and really exciting. And, trying to find out what your career is and how to discover who your relationships are and your parents and finding out them. And that all seemed to be a perfect kind of time in these characters' lives to open up and have fun with.
Mandy and Zachary, I'd like to ask you what it was like to step into these roles again and get to play with these characters that are so beloved all over again.
Mandy.
I mean, this was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. I think if we're being perfectly honest, Zach and I both had a little bit of trepidation venturing back into this territory just because...
No.
Well, initially we're like, where does this story go? How do we find ourselves back in these shoes?
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof.
I'm super smart.
But we were obviously convinced, and here we are. I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer, especially because I felt like we were really a team in making the decision together. It's like I wouldn't have done it if Zach didn't want to do it, and perhaps vice versa.
No, I definitely would have done it without you. I think that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. No, essentially what had happened was is that Chris and the team were hard at work in putting this thing together. But to your credit, to the entire team's credit, and to Disney's credit, you guys really, at least what they told us was, we don't want to do it unless we have you and Mandy. That's probably not true. Ultimately, you still would have done it. It would have been a great show. It wouldn't have been as good. but what you guys did was you really included us very early on in the conversation, and you allowed us to weigh in on how we felt about what the story that was being presented and how all that tied together and how that affected your character and my character. And you really listened to us and you collaborated with us on that. And that was very crucial for me, I think also for Mandy. And ultimately, you know, that's kind of shows a lot of respect and thought in that, you know, you guys were kind of the newcomers to the whole situation. We were the only two carryovers from the film and the creative team, because Nathan and Byron and everybody else who had directed the film and Vogelman, like, you know, all that team had moved on and, you know, winning Emmys and all those types of things. But ultimately, for us to be able to kind of weigh in and say, hey, these are our thoughts, this is what we love, this is what our concerns were, and you guys heard us and you adapted to that, and now we get to keep being Flynn and Rapunzel.
Yeah, and I think otherwise, we sort of thought, well, that was the beginning and end of our story as,
Yeah.
you know, Eugene and Rapunzel. So it's beautiful to see and hear like how their life sort of expands outside of what we know from the film and the short.
Yeah. And then bringing in incredible talent
Yes.
like Eden. Not so much Jeremy, but Eden Espinosa. Have you heard this girl sing? Come on now. Come on. Jeremy's okay.
Throwing
We
Jeremy
hired
under
him
the
for
bus.
jawline. Have you seen that? With the thing here, what is that called?
It's called a cleft.
Butt chin. That's what I thought.
Is that?
Something like that. Yeah.
You were hiding yours, so I let my butt.
No, I don't have a butt
Show.
chin. That's why I have to have a beard. Any solid butt
You don't
chin.
want a
would
butt
be
chin.
The beard. And we derailed. Continue.
That's the takeaway from the panel, butt chin.
Mandy, could you talk a little bit about the qualities that you admire in Rapunzel, and if you think there are any similarities between you and her?
I don't know if I can compare myself to her. She kind of sets a high bar. I mean, she has this irrepressible spirit and this natural sense of adventure and curiosity, and I think she is so positive and glass half full, and she's a faithful friend, and I mean...
You are none of those things.
I was just gonna say, and you are, and I just think everything's horrible.
I find her to be inspiring, but it's hard to compare yourself to her. She really does set the bar
I'll
high.
do it. She is when she comes in to record,
No,
she is every
Chris.
bit the character. What do you want me to say?
I'm a crabby crab apple. I don't believe
But
that.
so is Rapunzel. No, when she comes in, it is so easy for her to roll into the character, and there's so many things. What we do is we actually videotape her when we're doing it for the animator, so they can
Which
see.
has got to be horrifying
Oh,
because
stop.
I gesticulate a
Stop.
lot.
Yeah.
I like move my arms around, my face is contorted.
Yeah.
I'm
And we
always
use
horrified to think like, who is watching this video? It's
Oh, I've seen that video. It's horrifying. It's really... You wouldn't want
And all
it.
of the like, anytime it's like, okay, now you're running and you're like, you're just doing the most insane things to like get the sounds out. It's got to
Does
be
an
really
amazing
weird.
job at it. But I think we take those performances and we put them on the screen. I mean, all the kind of, the awkward little movements or the fun little hand gestures that she does while we record, we put those directly into the show.
Zachary, can you talk a little bit about playing Eugene and how you think he has evolved since moving to Corona in the series?
Can I? Eugene, Flynn, Eugene. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably, it might be the funnest character I've ever gotten to portray, and part of that is because he was so, I think, excellently created by Dan and initially, and again, they also gave me a lot of free reign to kind of have fun with them. But in this whole kind of vein of animation and getting to go and walk into a recording booth and not have to have showered, if that's what you chose, and I choose that a lot.
We know.
We know.
Listen, I still throw on some patchouli though. You know, what I mean, I'm not just going in there. Anyway, so, the amount of freedom that you are given to then bring a character to life And you know, as an actor, if you have a camera rolling on you, it's very strange. I mean, you try to be as present as you can and not in your head and not thinking about all the lights and cameras and crew and everybody. It's very difficult to do sometimes. But when you're in a voiceover booth, and you know the only camera that's rolling on you is the one they're going to use for all the animation, but you still feel so very free to be able to bring that to life. And also we just have such an incredible team. Mary Elizabeth, our voiceover director, that carries us through these sessions with Chris, and again, it's the camaraderie, it's the amount of freedom that I've been offered. And I also know that Eugene is, aside from being someone who loves Rapunzel so much and will literally die for her, and has. It's tough, guys. It's tough. I also know that, I'm comic relief in so much of it, and I love it. I love getting to, say things that are very earnest and then say things that are completely narcissistic and self-serving, art imitating life, and. Why'd you? That was a joke. But then also, then I get to run around with Maximus and Pascal and all the other yahoos and just be funny. And I just think that life is so gnarly, right? I mean, look, our world right now and our country and there's so many things we can look at and go, dang, that's like super heavy. And to be able to play a character that just gets to make people laugh on a regular basis, whether they're children or the parents of the children that are watching Tangled. And, I ran into Josh Gad yesterday, and he was talking to, he was with his kids, and he was like, man, we watch the series on the regular, and we love it so much, and it's so fun. And aside from the fact that I love that Olaf is talking about how much he likes the show, I love that adults and children, and this is what Disney has a tradition of doing, is creating entertainment that really is for everyone, because it speaks to the child in all of us. And I think that we were given such an incredible gift with the film, and now Chris and the team have continued that on. And so that's the best part of playing Flynn, is everything.
Eden, we're in a room full of Disney fans, me included, but maybe not as big as you are. Can you talk a little bit about your Disney history and what playing the role of Cassandra means to you?
Yeah, I grew up in Anaheim, and I had family members who worked at the park. My uncle was a kid at the Kingdom back in the day. My second cousin still works at the park in entertainment. And so I grew up coming to the park and going backstage, and the only thing I ever wanted to do was work at Disneyland in entertainment. And there we go, Pocahontas. And I ended up doing that, and then I was like, I want to be the voice in the sky, and I was fortunate enough to be asked to record Magical, that played every summer for 5 years, and then the last one was I just want to voice a character for Disney, and I had auditioned for Rapunzel, but when I went to see the movie.
Thanks a lot, Mandy.
I went to see it, and then I heard that Mandy Moore got in. She doesn't know this because we just met today, but I've been a huge fan of hers. I'm missing you like any day. I know all the songs. I've seen all the movies. Huge fan. So when I found out that it was Mandy, I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect. I auditioned for Frozen. We all know what happened with that one.
Did y'all just hear that tongue click right now?
So when this came along, and I've done a lot of voiceover work before, but when this came along, it was honestly the first audition experience or voiceover where I was actually my own voice, where I didn't have to alter it at all, and so it was really dream come true, but also full circle moment, just because I had auditioned for the movie, and now getting to be a character in the series is just super cool. So I'm a total Disney nerd, Disney girl through and through. And it's an honor and a privilege and nothing but a dream come true for me.
Once I saw Eden's, there was a video of her that we had seen. Shane Prigmore. What?
Are you going to show your screensaver?
Oh yeah. Can you guys get a tight on that? This is my actual screensaver right now. Hold on. Can we get a shot of that? That is actually her as Pocahontas.
It's me as Pocahontas.
I love, this is my everything. Is Eden as Pocahontas. Pocahontas was the first movie I worked on, so working on Pocahontas and then working with her is some kind of circle. But when I heard Eden's voice and saw like a video that was on YouTube, the character of Cassandra had lived in kind of this huge idea for so long, but when I saw Eden sing and that is her. Like the laser just went like exactly who she became solid in my mind when I saw that. It was very.
What did that laser sound like again?
It was a single beam of light. There was smoke came into the room. It was very dramatic.
Laser magic.
It's Disney. They have them installed in all the meeting rooms.
Jeremy, this is your first time voicing an animated character. Obviously.
You're welcome.
You guys, he seriously doesn't like that.
You should write at all.
You should have seen him backstage when Jeremy walked out. He was like, all right.
That's not true. I did threaten to leave, but I did not do that.
Yeah, he's clearly working through some stuff. Just keep laughing for him. He'll love it. It makes him feel good. Love you, Zach.
And obviously Varian has become a fan favorite. So how did you prepare for this role?
Oh man, so many push-ups. I love Varian so much. I was, like a couple years ago, I got an opportunity to audition for it. And I've auditioned for like maybe 3 animated things ever. So I was like, I'm not gonna get this. And it was just a lot of fun, and they kind of just let me do whatever with it. And I just kind of went in and had a blast. And they gave it to me, so I was like, okay, great. And it's been an incredible experience. I was talking earlier that the first time I went in and saw, what is it called, the animatic, which is like after the storyboard, but before it's fully animated, it's like a kind of half animated. We went in and they had animated to my character doing the first episode. And Chris was there. I was like laughing and crying at the same time. Like all my Disney dreams were coming true in front of my eyes. It was the most because
It was so cute, you guys.
Because I like, you know, they'd give me the script and I just kind of like did my own thing with it. I just like was being super zany and super crazy, and I've been doing a lot of TV lately, and you're like not allowed to do that, you know. So. Like Mandy, you know, I was just like kind of like flailing all over the place. It was fun, and then they kept all of it, and I was like, that's me. So yeah, it was great, and he's so adorable, and he's just great. I love it. You know, it's weird because he's only been in 1 episode so far, and he's in a lot more to come. So the fact that the response has been so wonderful just from 1 episode, I couldn't be happier.
When I got home that night from the auditions, I didn't really, sorry guys, I didn't know who Jeremy Jordan was. I'm not a huge Newsies, you know. But luckily my daughters are, and they're in the room, but I went home and I was like, yeah, we auditioned a couple of Varian, they know the story and everything. A couple of Varians, and yeah, we had a couple guys come in, but the one I really liked was this kid named Jeremy Jordan, and they lost their minds. They were like, Jack, do you know who that is? That's Jeremy Jordan. He's from News. You have to put him in the... They immediately brought up on their phones, and I was like,
thanks,
I had no
guys.
idea. Then from then on, the laser... smoke came. I have them at my house, too. It's pretty cool.
Ben, you've worked on a lot of sequels, and you've continued the story of a lot of beloved characters, including you worked on Little Mermaid 2, Cinderella 2, Lion King 1.5. Can you speak a little bit about the process of that and what it was like taking Rapunzel's story and continuing that after the movie?
Yeah, after all those sequels, I vowed never to do it again. and Chris, who's a good buddy of mine, I was at some other studios, and I came back, and my very first day back at Disney, I was working on a show called Wander Over Yonder, and I just hit step 4. and I'm trying to figure out how my phone works and how, like, where's the coffee and stuff. And Chris grabs me into his office, and he's got all these note cards and little rough sketches all over, like almost in this psychotic way all around his office. And I'm like half dazed going, Disney, what's going on? And he pitched me the whole thing. I mean, this guy is this ridiculous passion. And I, even then, I'm just like, oh my God, like this is legit. This is not your just everyday sequel. Like I think, and to attest to what Mandy and Zach were saying before, it's like when you hear like where this is all going, and this is all planned out, like we know where it's gonna end. And once you hear the full thing, it gets you, man. Like in a real way. And I was like, oh man, I got, all my time on Wander and I love it and it's so good, but man, I'd love to be a part of that. And sure enough, the guy who helped co-create it with it, Shane Prigmore, who's, just such a legend. Luckily, he got booted out of the job. He got booted out to be like vice president of all Disney creation now. So he got this massive promotion. And they brought me in, luckily enough, to kind of help, hopefully, to try to fill his shoes and get this opportunity. And I mean, this series has been so unlike, the other sequels and stuff. I had a good time and stuff, but this one is just the passion that's involved from everybody, from all the crew that are working on it, and just from your fans and stuff like that. That we read stuff online or see you here and stuff like that. Man, it's moving. So.
No, it's very different. On the plus side, it's just like these characters are so clearly drawn out, and such great characters that when you kind of have a blueprint to work from when you're sort of extrapolating what kind of adventures they would go on and stuff like that, and how they would talk, what they would do. It's also extremely nerve-wracking because, as you can see, they're beloved characters, and everybody there's just a lot of pressure to get them right. Right, there's like a lot of don't screw them up type stuff going on. But I would say, it's fun. One of the more challenging characters that actually, or two of the more challenging characters that are just a great part of the show as well is Max and Pascal. Yes, I think Max's mom is here somewhere. For me, it's been a really. I've done animated shows before, but I've never had one where I've been able to commute so well with board artists and the directors because you can't really write dialogue for a chameleon. So there's a lot of like he does this kind of thing, and then you see it up on the screen. So it's different. I stand by my initial response.
It's a huge setup from Jace, but it's also a huge testament to our crew who takes that. Our board crew, we have one
absolutely.
of the best board crews in all of in animation, and a lot of them are here, so give them a round of applause. But suffice to say, the words that Jason, the crew, the amazing writing crew write become this amazing blueprint to which we all kind of have to get behind and create the world and deliver the performances, but it all kind of starts with Jason and those writers.
Alan, can you talk a little bit about the look of the series?
Project I've been on in so many years. I mean, when Chris pitched me the show with Shane, I just said, I'm in. It was so cool. And I loved the original film, so I know that it wasn't going to be CG like the original, and it was going to be 2D now. So we had to think of a way, how is that going to still be a place that we recognize and feel good about, that it looks like Corona. And we took a good look at some of the drawings that were in Rapunzel's tower and just the way that Rapunzel drew. And so we used that as a beginning point to get the style going. And we took a look too at some of the earlier classic Disney films, like some of the styling that was in Cinderella, just the elegant shapes and forms that were used to show that world. And they were really in 2D, you can kind of exaggerate and make things really kind of moody. I love 2D a lot, so taking those into consideration, we came up with that style that looks very storybook, and it really harks to Rapunzel.
So the production team has actually put together a Meet the Crew video that
Work with
gives.
better people, so we're really lucky.
Actually, I think a lot of them are in this audience, as Chris mentioned. Would you all stand up so we can
Where
acknowledge
is
you?
the team? Stand up, guys. Thank those guys for making this show. There they are. Great guys.
Quick, grab them! Grab them now! That was like the bright, light, happy Disney version of like the SNL opening credits where everybody's kind of like in a little vignette, you know? Chris Sonnenberg! Like it was that kind of a... Nobody? All right, fantastic. Just gonna drink my water now, thank you.
We also want to share a quick animatic of an upcoming episode titled
No idea. I would have treated him so much better up to this point.
Yeah, we don't mess around in this show, guys. Don't get used to anybody. This is the Game of Thrones of children's television.
Red wedding, red wedding!
Mandy, don't get comfortable.
So next we're going to open up to audience questions, but before we do, if you could all look under your seat.
Kidding! There's none!
Psych!
I believe there are 3. Has anyone found one?
Hi.
We got one, we
There's
got
one.
one, we
There's
got
one.
two, we got two.
There's one back there too. There's
So
one.
come on forward.
Come forward if you have one, bring it forward.
Also, for those of you that have questions, I think someone's going to come through with a microphone. So right back here. If you want to line up behind the microphone over here, that'd be great.
Oh my god, that guy's running. He is running. Season 1, episode 2, I have a question. What exactly was happening?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you all for coming. I'm sure we're looking at a future group of Disney legends right here today.
That's so very true. Your question, sir?
For Eden and Steven, I think Cassandra is the most wonderful new character for this mythology. So great job on this character, and we've already learned so many amazing...
Zach is so angry that you just said that.
Cassandra? Really?
Cassandra.
She just bosses you around so well. She can, you know...
Go ahead. Keep complimenting.
We've learned so many interesting things about her already. Originally, she was an orphan. She was adopted. So how excited are you about this discovery process for continuing to peel back the layers of this character and, you know, maybe learning her connections to other people in the future, like Mother Gothel.
Wow. Well,
You just dropped
He
the
just
cup.
walked away.
He did. Drop the mic.
Security, please
doesn't
escort
even
this
want
man
to
out of the
be in.
building.
He just gothled that and bounced.
no, the cool thing is like, I mean, it was a little daunting at first just because I was such a fan of the movie, and Rapunzel and Eugene are such, you know, a tight unit, and I was essentially not becoming a wedge between them, but I was like a third entity, and I was really hoping and wanting people to accept her as a character. So thank you for responding so well and accepting her and loving her as much as I do, because I'm obsessed with her. But I am excited, and she's, you know, one of the only characters where it's a mystery. You know, we don't know where she's gonna end up because she's not in the
P.S. You
story.
have no idea where she comes from.
But I'm more excited for you guys to find out, because I know a little bit, not everything, but you know, this creative team, the integrity, the creativity, they're just so smart, and they have so much buy-in and investment, and you guys better buckle up and get ready. Red wedding, red wedding!
Hello. First of all, Jeremy, it's amazing to see you here. You're amazing on Supergirl, so I had no idea you were on this show. And second of all, my question really is, because I really loved on Tangled Before Ever After, you got to hear some really cool original songs that were really expertly sung by Mandy Moore, which, just happens, but it's very good.
It's true.
And so my question going around to that is, as the series progresses, are we going to hear more original songs like that, or was it only that one, opening video movie where we got to see it?
We will do. So what we have happening is we have what are called tentpoles, tentpole kind of mythology episodes that happen throughout the season. There's more to come. A beginning, kind of a mid-season tentpole, and a end of the season finale tentpole. And in each of those, there are a couple of songs from Alan Menken, and then we spread a couple other songs throughout the season as well. But having Alan Menken on and Glenn Slater on board to write these songs has been a huge gift to the show. And yes, you will hear some amazing singing.
Well, that's wonderful news. I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, you guys will love the stuff coming up.
Good morning, folks. This question is for Mandy. First of all, if we don't see you again before that, congrats on the 20th anniversary of So Real. And
Sir, I didn't even know that. Thank you.
I don't know whether Weird Al Yankovic has contacted you about parroting one or more of your songs, but with any luck, he will. I think it's your deal. And, you're welcome. Which brings me to my question. What was it like making 47 Meters Down, and how soon can we buy the DVD?
It was crazy. A lot of fun, but yeah.
That was one of the first questions I asked her when I met her today. I was like, tell me everything about 47 Meters Down.
Yeah, I mean, it was really challenging to spend 7 weeks underwater, but it was funny because we just had done, I think, like the very first episode, and then I went off to go do that, and then we came back and sort of like jumped right into the series. But I remember chatting with you guys when I got back. But yeah, that was an experience. But thank you. I have no idea about any of the details about when it's coming out on DVD, but I'm sure at some point soonish. Right?
Thank you so much.
I was thinking all things Tangled, so that really just threw me. But thank you.
Rock on, Mandy.
I think he likes you a lot. He does. Yes, he does.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Power to the more.
So I must say, before I ask my question really quickly, that with the additional people that you've added to the voice cast, you guys really hit a total win with some of your voice actors here. Much better than some of the other people that are just holdovers and you just kind of chucked into this show, But anyway, sorry, horrible puns.
Nobody even understands that joke, so it's fine. Keep going.
So, considering the big show that really took place after a movie that really started this whole movie and a TV show, Aladdin back in the day, that continued the story, it seems like Tangled is definitely kind of following in that show's footsteps. Considering a lot of the Disney animated shows do multi-part episodes, are we going to start to see multi-part episodes within Tangled the series at all coming up?
Yeah, those are, ultimately, again, when everybody asks the question, how does the hair come back, that question is so, as I saw it being asked on the internet, the only thing I could say to myself without giving too much away at the time was the entire show is built around how the hair comes back and why it comes back and what it means to this character's lives. So ultimately, we have a lot of standalone episodes, but when you look at the series, it will be a huge mythology that wraps it all together. So yes, you'll see very much a threaded mythology that works the movie into it, that works the short into it. It will, at the end of the entire thing, will have threaded everything together.
I mean, like some black smoke monsters and four-toed statue things. It's a lot of mythology, guys. It's all gonna make sense, we promise. Nobody? Wow.
Spaceship
Numbers.
to heaven.
You can't win them
That
all
was
back.
super funny to anybody who
can't
actually
win them all
watched Lost.
Well, I
It's
think
too late now.
To that end, I think I was a huge Lost fan, and knowing that there were so many questions that were left unanswered, some of the biggest challenges for this team is to not only ask questions, but to definitely answer them in a satisfying way. So for sure, Black Monster.
Hello, Mandy. You deserved an Emmy nomination.
I agree for this show.
You're very kind.
If I were into women, it would be you.
to Jeremy Jordan. We got it.
And Zachary.
We got it. We got it.
I
Can't win it. I just
That is
can't.
the ultimate
Can't catch a
compliment,
break.
by the way.
It totally
Thank you.
Cassandra is my favorite character as well.
Yay! Sorry, Zach.
I really want to hear Eden and Mandy do a duet on the show or personally. And your personal
Yes,
stuff.
please. I would die.
So make that happen, please. My question is, are there spin-offs coming for any of the characters, or is that something you've talked about?
Please stand by.
Thank you.
Varian the musical.
You didn't say no.
Hi guys. First of all, I just want to say, Jeremy, I'm a huge fan. I love you. I changed my major to acting because of you. Like, I'm so inspired by you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah, of course. So my question is, for those of you who have been on Broadway or anything like musical theater or anything like that, what do you find challenging or different from being a voice actor versus doing live theater or being on television?
I don't have as much experience on I mean, like I've done like an episode or something. I don't have as much experience on TV, but as far as like, it's similar to Broadway in that the spontaneity is, you know, you can be big, you know, and it's even more freeing for me because I don't have to worry about what I look like. So like Mandy said, if I look crazy in the booth, because you want to make sure that the sentiment gets across because they don't get to see your face, they just get to hear your voice. So, you know, if there's fighting scenes, like I'm being like, ha! Yeah, you know, I look like an idiot. But it's super freeing because you can give, you know, as much as you want without worrying about looking like, I want to say the word, a bad word, but I'm not going to because it's Disney. But sometimes you do feel like a dummy. Yes. But I think for me, it's the similar spontaneity is the same as theater. The present.
Yeah.
So present.
I think it's a lot. It's easier in a lot of ways because you know you show up, you do it. It's like a couple hours and it's great, and they're really good at directing you. The really hard thing I think is kind of just sort of inserting yourself into like this moment, and you often don't have the other actors to bounce off of. We have a great a voice coach that kind of does all the other parts with us, but you know we have to kind of use our imaginations and put ourselves into that world, and that's kind of the fun, but also really fun and challenging part at the same time. And then you see, you know, months later the result, and it's just incredible.
Thank you.
Hi guys.
Are there more of you there?
I can open your. I promise Newsies. I will sing some Newsies by the end of the panel.
Non-stop. I don't even know how to respond to
Movie Newsies, though, not that stagey stuff. Anyway,
In the first episode where Lady Kane comes out, Eugene knows her.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, ooh, past? Ooh, is she coming back? Ooh, I don't know, I'm wondering.
so you were watching and doing a lot of this.
I'm a very physical person.
And he's officially lost his mind.
Yeah. That was years ago, Jordan. No, Lady Payne. So, well, look, I mean, Flynn, Eugene, Flugene. He's had a checkered past. He stole from a lot of people. Always with a heart of gold. He stole from bad people and good people. The point is, so we had, he probably dated some chicks back in the day that were bad apples, and then he found a really good apple. Like a Fuji, or like a
Pink lady.
like a pink lady.
Honey crisp.
Like a pink lady. And yeah, so there's some past. I don't know how deep that past, you know, we could have like been on a date. You know, it could have been like, hey, what are you about? And like after 10 minutes, it's like, let's wrap this up. Or they could have
left,
dated.
swipe right.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't know what their past is, to be perfectly honest. And I don't like to ask questions that I don't like the answers to. So that's why I never asked Chris exactly. But I thought it was really fun that Laura Benanti got to play that role.
Yeah.
You know, because locking her up is just fun. That's fun to thwart her plans. And thank you that you care about me.
Thank you.
It should not go without saying that, along with Laura Benanti, there's a very, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but there's a very strong thread of Broadway DNA. Is there? You and Laura did a little show together.
Well,
We're in a show together. And James Monroe Ivanhoe. Is there any
I don't get to sing on this show. It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Is there any James Monroe Ivanhoe fans in there? He's watching from home, so everybody say hi to him. He wants to be here.
Hi,
Hi, James.
We love you, James.
Who's next?
Hi. I just want to say I'm really sorry.
We took a turn for the worse and quickly a turn for the better.
She was like crying. I was like, oh no, this is.
I just wanted to know if you guys could, I think my friends are recording this in the back, if you guys could wish us congratulations so we can add it to our wedding video.
What are your names? What is your name, hon?
It's Kurt.
Your name is Kurt?
Kurt?
Yeah.
Kurt, and what's your husband to be?
Nigel, he's in the back. He really
Nigel?
loves Jeremy Jordan. He wanted because I got him to watch Chuck.
That's cool, Kurt.
Yeah. So I have a shirt that says, well, I want to get a shirt that says Nerd HQ and the Bartowski.
Kurt, I gotta say, this has been a very emotional morning. You're taking me down a journey of ups and downs right now, and I don't know where to go. But I do want to wish you and your fiance the best of wishes.
Kurt and Nigel, yes.
Kurt and Nigel?
Yes.
So on the count of three, we're going to say...
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Kurt and Nigel. We go with that? Everybody in here, I would like this to happen, okay?
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Kurt and Nigel! Shut up, Jeremy.
Good morning. Thank you so much for coming here today. I know it means a lot to everyone here.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks. My question is, do you guys have a favorite character aside from the one that you voice?
Oh. I mean, I love you guys, but I've always just had a soft spot for Max and Pascal. They just, you know, they're the OG crew. Love them. Pascal's my bestie. My non-human bestie. What about you? Mr. Levi?
You're gonna say yourself, aren't you?
It would be very un-Flynn of me to not say. I don't know. I actually really quite like Cassandra. Not as Flynn, but as Zach. I think she's a very cool character, and you know, I like that we get to have, like Flynn and Rapunzel get to have their lovey, fun kind of world that they live in, but I get to just fight with this one all.
It's my favorite too.
The time. And you know, that kind of like eased up my relationship with Maximus, which I appreciate. Because we're cool now. We're coolish. We're tepid. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, I think we just have so many fun characters in the show. You know, that's one of the things about going into a series is that with a film, it's pretty much locked. Those are the characters you do. But now we have so many episodes and so many cool guest stars, and like Chris was talking about, and I just think everybody that they're getting is so fantastic and brings these characters to life. So, yeah, so all that to say, yeah, Flynn is probably my favorite character.
We're going down the line.
We're going down the line.
Okay, sorry. I actually have like little favorite things about everybody, just because like I think ultimately Rapunzel is so I wish I could be more like her as a person, because just her optimism, her like just enthusiasm for everything, just like this innocence, this wide-eyed, just like, isn't it great? And there's so many times when if Mandy has already like recorded her part and I'm working off of her, it just makes me smile and laugh sometimes. I just can't believe that person exists or that character exists. And so I just think like she's the center, the heart of like the whole thing. So sorry, Flynn. Eugene, as Rapunzel would say, Eugene. Nobody gets that.
No, nobody. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Next.
Jeremy.
Oh yeah, I love all these guys, but if I was gonna go with somebody else, I would say I love Shorty. Everything he says, I'll be in a recording session and I'll be in a scene and his line is like next, and I will die. I'll just die for like 2 minutes.
We have to stop recording while he laughs. We actually lose money while he's laughing. Paul F. Tompkins is the voice of Shorty and always brings so much fun to the show.
This is for Jeremy.
Wow.
Hi, Jeremy. My name's Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
And I'm such a big Newsies fan. It's my favorite musical ever. You are amazing in it. I wish I could have seen the show live, but I was wondering, your character does a lot of singing in Newsies. Will Varian be doing any singing in the show?
Yes. Yes, Varian will be singing in the show. Eventually, at one point, somewhere, maybe sooner than
It would be
later.
a waste if you didn't.
Thank you.
You got it, girl.
I wonder what we're gonna see next. Speaking of songs being sung by Jeremy Jordan.
I think we had a question about it before, but do you think anybody out there wants to hear a brand new Alan Menken song? Brand new? Never before been heard by anybody?
We're gonna show you a little clip here, guys. This is first time. Thank you,
now
guys.
I get why you guys like this guy so much. Well, that's it. All right, bye.
I have a couple announcements to make before we end. From 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock tonight, there will be special Tangled Snapchat geo filters available from the D23 Expo. Also, at 3 o'clock today, Mandy and Zachary will be the grand marshals of the D23 parade. That is taking place on the expo floor, so please don't miss that. And I really want to say thank you to everyone today. This has been so much fun, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Keep watching.